Warning: the following podcast has been rated listener R due to strong language, violent situations, drug references, sexual innuendos, and who knows what else. Listener discretion is advised. With that being said, hang on, sugar tits, because we're about to get wobbled.
What is going on, guys? It is Clayton Wobble Elliott back with episode 1, season 3. Let's Get Wobble podcast. But you guys didn't think I was going to come back for season 3. Well, let's be honest. I didn't know if I was going to either. So, after some research, my last episode aired February 11th, 2025. I am recording this podcast March 11th, 2026. So that's a year and a month just from the date that I'm recording the podcast. You guys aren't going to get it today, unfortunately, as much as I'd love you to. So I will explain everything that's going on. I'll recap all the things that have happened over the past year. I'll try to get you guys caught up to speed. Then I'll let you know what to expect in the future, and we will go from there. I know that I'm not loyal to you guys, which I hate to say that because I do feel loyal to my Let's Get Wobble podcast listeners, but I have struggled so hard with finding the motivation to do this. I enjoy doing it, but it's just hard to set time aside to actually do it. You know what I mean? So trying to figure out how I can work in my home life and my work life with the podcast life, it's tough. It's difficult to set time aside specifically for this, not only to record it, but to edit it and then publish it. I just need to get better at it. But before we get into how the podcast is going to go forward, let's look back in a year's date and see what all happened. And I'll tell you guys some stories and catch you guys up from the past. So, since the last recording, myself and the motorcycle club did a funeral escort. I don't know the dates on all this, but this is kind of like in chronological order from furthest back to newest. So hang with me. We'll get to where we're at. We did a funeral escort for a canine out of Cambridge, Ohio. We got called. Long story short, the dog was named after a member from Bel Air's motorcycle chapter that passed away, Breeze. So they named the dog after him. The dog ended up passing away years later. So we as a motorcycle club decided we wanted to be a part of the funeral slash like in memoriam of representation of the canine. So I told the boys, I looked at the weather that day. It was supposed to be a high of 50. I said, boys, I'm riding. No matter what, I'm riding. So I get up that day, get ready for the funeral, go outside, and I'm like, it's a little cooler than 50. And I looked on my weather app again in the morning, and 50 was the high, but it was the high at midnight. And then it slowly dipped down. The temperature when I got on the bike, I believe, was 34. But I was committed. I told the guys I was going to ride and I wasn't going to take it back. So I texted everybody and said, I know that I told you I was riding. I'm still going to ride. Let's do this. So I take off. I go to meet where everybody else is meeting at. And on my way there started to snow. And I thought, this is crazy. I've never ridden a motorcycle and it snowed in the same day. I know some people are hardcore and they're like, oh, I've ridden in 6 inches of snow before. I've not tested the limits in the snow. I've ridden in the rain before, but that's a different beast than riding in the snow. There was no snow built up. There was just flurries falling. Like there wasn't an inch on the ground and I was riding through it, but there was snow flurries coming down. It was a chilly ride. But I met up with some of the other guys. A couple of them were still riding. So luckily we weren't alone, but we got to the school where they were having this memorial service for the canine and parked the bikes up, kind of met with everybody that was coming from the Cambridge Bel Air chapters, other chapters that came. met up with everybody. Everybody, of course, called us crazy, thought we were wild for riding our bikes in the flurries and how cold it was. But it just goes to show how deep I think that our family, I can trust those guys and girls with everything. You know, the ones that I'm close to and the ones around here, especially the people that we have at Cambridge, those guys are great people. And I can trust them with anything. If I know that if I tell them I'm riding, they know that I'm riding. If they say that they're riding, there's no question they're riding. But it was a great time. Did that, spent time with everybody. It was a beautiful service. Shortly after that, um, myself, Kristen, Camden, and Bella made a trip to Top Golf in Pittsburgh. I always enjoyed Top Golf. I've been a few times. My brother's been before. Kristen's not a big golfer. Bella's not a big golfer either, but I still really enjoy going to Top Golf. And I said, hey, listen, if you guys want to come, I will pay for the Top Golf. You guys pay for whatever drinks, foods you want. But I said, we'll just make a double date out of it and we'll go. So we go to Pittsburgh. We're hanging out. We do the 2 hours of Top Golf, whatever. And right across the parking lot, I can't make this up. It's actually in the same little fucking parking lot almost. They almost share the same parking lot. Is a cigar bar right next to it. And I'm like, well, this is perfect marketing. Who wouldn't want to go hit 2 hours worth of golf balls and then go sit in a cigar lounge and smoke for a little while? So I'm like, well, we have to try this. We're already committed. We're this far out. I'm going to anyways. So I go inside and it's this beautiful place. On the left hand side is the whole bar area where drinks and couches. And if you've ever smelled a cigar room or a cigar bar, it has that old leathery, just amazing smell to it. Some people don't like it that don't smoke cigars, but the people who do know what I'm talking about. It was just a great atmosphere. And then to the entire right side of the building, there was like sliding glass doors and basically an inside humidor that had all kinds of different cigars. So they came in with me. I let them pick because I was having trouble picking different cigars. My biggest thing is when I smoke, I enjoy the cigars that I know that I like. Obviously, I'm going to get the ones that I know that are good. So I let each one of them within a reasonable price range pick me a cigar to try, and it kind of broadened my palate a little bit, if you will, on cigars. But it was a great time. I really enjoyed that. We haven't been since. And I told them both, I was like, I really want to go again. So I think Kristen and I are going to go here within the next few weeks or so, maybe. I'd love it if they were to come with me. But once again, later on, we'll talk about that and their situation later on. No big deal. Um, but just slowly filling you guys in. I redid my fire pit area. I know those who I've never been to my house before don't know anything about my fire pit area, but the old fire pit area that I had set off to the right side of the house, if your back's like to the house, but it had old pavers in it. Half of it was grass, half of it was pavers. I almost felt like the previous owners had set a pool there before and then took the pool off of there and then put a big semi rim or tractor rim in and was using it for a fire pit. And it just wasn't what we thought a fire pit should look like or should be. We weren't using it as much as we wanted. So Kristen and I decided we wanted to update that and try to figure out what we were going to do. So I found a guy, it's actually a relation to Playboy, to build me a nice big fire pit. Um, got him to make it up for me, cut it out. It's got the Warthog emblem on one side and then WFFW and our chapter number on the other side. But it looks amazing. And we tore all the pavers out. We tore out all the sand and the grass that was eating up through and replaced the 2x4s that kind of lined the area and defined it as a fire pit, I guess. Um, Moved everything off to the side, put new border around, put black plastic down so it would hopefully help the weeds growing up through. I have not been able to keep the weeds out of it, even with the plastic. The weeds grow right up through the plastic. But we put some gravel down and made a nice little fire pit area that we were able to utilize. And that was a whole process in and of itself. Kristen was an amazing help with that. Um, I believe Playboy actually came and got the pavers Told him he could just have them. I wanted rid of them. They were taking up space in my yard. But beautiful little outdoor patio fireplace area thing that we got going now. Now, if we could just get the rest of the house to match it, that'd be fucking cool. But I ain't got that kind of money unless I start working the street corner. So I picked up more golf. I don't know. I don't think I really talked too much about it in the last year's podcast because I really got into it this year. But I started watching a lot more golf on TV, which I always did have a likeness for golf. I was just never good at it. And I'm still not good at it a year in. But I've been to a lot more golf simulators, a lot more courses. This whole past year, I spent a lot of time. If I wasn't on the bike, if I wasn't cutting up firewood, I was on the golf course. So my weekends were very busy in the summer, which I really did enjoy. I enjoy golfing. Kristen doesn't golf, like I said, but she enjoys going with me. So she is basically my golf cart driver, caddy, if you will, when we go golfing. Just because, like, I know some guys are like, I don't want my girl to go with me when I golf. I want me time, which is nice. I do like some me time too, but most of the time I don't mind taking her. I like quality time that her and I get to spend together. And even if it's doing something that I like to do or something that she likes to do, I just like spending quality time together. So if you can find that in your relationship with your significant other, if there's things that maybe you don't necessarily love doing, but you're still getting to spend quality time with your significant other, there's a give and take there that's worth it, in my opinion. Maybe it's not worth it to some, but um, she actually enjoys driving the golf cart. She does watch my ball for a little while, but then has a difficult time following it and then loses interest, which I can understand that. She doesn't like golf. So I use her for what I can. And then when she gets disinterested or loses interest, I guess I should say, then I'm kind of on my own. And I still fucking suck at golf. I think the best, I've not broke 100 on any golf course that I've played yet. But working at getting better. Didn't work any through the winter, and I'm hoping that I can go out and shoot an amazing round for the first round this year. We will see what happens. I wouldn't hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. Um, After talking about golf, I want to move into Cleveland Memorial. Last year when we went was an amazing time. We took more people last year than we did the prior year, which is nice. We're kind of building that um, group of people that like to go and enjoy it. Um, but we took more people. Some stories that I want to share there. Um, One night was kind of slow for us. We didn't do a whole lot. I wanted to go to the casino. Now, I'm not a huge gambler per se, but I do like to play table games. I like to play blackjack. I like a little Texas Hold'em. Um, and I've never been to a casino in the 28 years that I've been around, but I've always wanted to. And I thought, well, Cleveland's got to be the place to try it. So I asked the guys that were with us who weren't taking a nap at the time. I said, hey, why don't we go down to Jack's? You guys want to go to Jack's with me, the casino? Everybody shot me down. No, I'm not going. We don't want to go. We're not gambling. Casinos aren't my thing. I don't want to go. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, we're in Cleveland. We're only here for 3 days out of the year. Let's go do something we wouldn't normally do. You guys don't have to gamble. Just come hang out with me. That's all I really want, just the company. So I talked Playboy into it, and I finally talked Pumbaa, who is Zach Stewart, got his patch last year. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Michael Neff, aka Crackpipe. Congratulations Andrea Wood, who we named Mocktail, and congratulations Fred Wagner, who we brought in as Breacher. But I took Pumbaa and I took Playboy with me. They were both like didn't want to go. Basically, like I was dragging them. I said, fellas, listen, I have $200 to $300. I'm gonna fucking put it all on the card table and I'm gonna play. If I win, I win. If I lose all of it, I expect to lose all of it. So I'm not out anything. We're not gonna be there all fucking day. Let's just go have a Cleveland experience. So we get taken over by our little cab service kind of thing that takes us where we want to go throughout this whole Cleveland adventure. We go to Jack's. I get up to the floor where the card tables are. The guys are like, hey, we're going to go walk around, do our thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be here. If you guys need me, I'll be around these card tables. You can find me. So I grabbed $300 worth of chips, kind of playing. I'm up and down. I'm kind of even still at around my $300 wherever I started at. A little while later, both of them come over with Jack and Cokes. They hand me one. Hey, how's it going? I'm kind of up and down. Still playing though, enjoying time. They're like, okay, cool. We're still doing our thing. We're just We're hanging out. I still don't think I knew anything at that point in time of what they were doing. They just kept telling me they were walking around. I didn't know that they were in on also playing the slot machines. They weren't at the tables with me, they were playing the slot machines. So after the first Jack and Coke, I started losing. And I was like, well, fuck, this isn't good. I'm down, but I'm not down crazy. I'm still within my limits of where I wanted to lose. The second Jack and Coke came by, they're like, "Hey, how's it going? Are you doing any better?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not doing any better." I think the second time Playboy showed me his ticket of winning maybe a couple $100. I can't remember exactly what he was up or down. But I'm like, "See, you didn't even want to fucking come. Like, and you're up. You're winning." He just laughed. Of course, Pumbaa was in on it. He laughed. So I'm like, well, I'm glad you, in my eyes, I'm like, I'm glad you guys are enjoying your time. Keep doing you. I'm going to see what I can do here, see if I can get back to even. And I shouldn't chase. Nobody should ever chase if you're down. But I told myself I was going to lose what I was prepared to lose. And I'll be damned if I didn't lose all of it. Because by the third Jack and Coke that they brought around, they both had a ticket in their hand of winnings. And Clayton had nothing. So I made it a bigger deal than what it was, but I acted all pissed off because I drug both of them out of the hotel to go to the casino. Neither of them wanted to fucking go, and they both ended up winning, and I ended up losing everything that I wanted to lose. But we had a great time, and then when we went to leave, we tried to call the cab service that picks us up, and we couldn't get a hold of anybody. So we're like, fuck, we're a few blocks away. Like we could have easily walked, but it would have taken us about 10 maybe ish minutes to get back to the hotel. And we're in downtown Cleveland. So as we're walking back and starting to make our way back, we find the little scooters, the motorized scooters. I look at the boys and I'm like, hey, I think we could do this. This would be funny if we hopped on these scooters. Like how do these things even work, basically. So there we are, three of us, not small fellas at all on scooters, riding back like one right after the other, renting these scooters and hauling ass down the sidewalk, weaving in and out of traffic cones, getting back to the hotel. I had more fun on the scooters than I did at the casinos just because I'm like, these are three big guys on three medium to smallish scooters. Like, it was definitely a sight to see. And if somebody would have gotten a picture of it, I would have loved to have the picture. But we had a blast. And then the second to last day that we were in Cleveland was the mystery dildo scenario story. And I will talk about it. It was funny because it just happened. The bad thing was, like, I blamed the wrong people, and those people didn't pull the prank, but it was funny to me. But I don't know if I hurt feelings in the long run because I kind of swore by my answer and thought that certain people did it, that they didn't do it. But anyway, Um, we left the bar that we leave. Um, we close down normally at night, and I noticed in my saddlebag when I left that bar, which I don't drink and drive. If I have a drink, I have one drink. I wait long enough to where it's out of my system, and then I ride the bike. If I'm inebriated at all, I will take an Uber. But I had planned on taking the bike because I knew I wasn't going to drink a lot that night. But I opened my saddlebag to get my hoodie out, I believe. And in my saddlebag is a dildo. And I'm like, oh, this is funny. Like, haha, everybody's laughing and joking about it, I'm sure. But somehow this ended up in my saddlebag. So I ride back to the hotel. And when I get to the hotel, I'm like, well, I'm the kind of person that will pull the prank on myself. I want to make people laugh. I think it's funny. I thought the dildo scenario was funny. So I took the dildo out of my saddlebag and stuck it underneath my windshield and on top of my headlight. So that way it like sandwiched itself in there so it wasn't going to move. And I wanted everybody to see it when they came in to park their bikes that night because I knew they all would. So I wedged the dildo in. It's sitting perfect. I think it's funny, blah, blah, whatever. Go to sleep next morning, get up. I'm like, haha, the dildo was funny. But by the way, who put it there? And everybody's like, nope, didn't put it there. Nope, didn't put it there. Wasn't me, but that's hilarious. So I just assumed, which I know you shouldn't assume, but I assumed it was certain people, blamed certain people. Certain people swore they didn't do it, and I didn't believe certain people. I'm not going to say who, but I pointed fingers in the wrong direction. And I think it's funny. And this year, I'm going to put the dildo in my cup holder on the bike and I'm going to take it back to Cleveland where it originated from. And I will ride with it all weekend long in the cup holder. And I will take it out and I will wiggle it and wag it at people as we go by and keep it for a Cleveland memorial thing. Now, whether it stays in Cleveland or whether I keep it for another year, we will see. But it's in the garage with the motorcycle. I just haven't ever. I think Kristen's like, why don't you throw this away? I'm like, you can't. It's Cleveland shit. Like you gotta know. So after the Cleveland trip starts to warm up a little bit more, I'm cutting firewood and getting it stacked up for the wintertime. One of my least favorite chores to do is cut firewood. Luckily, the neighbor had a big tree fall across the creek in the back part of his yard. And I had went over and asked him, I said, hey, I cut my own firewood. Would you mind if I cut that tree off your property and take it over to my house, split it for firewood? He said, yep, no problem at all. If you wouldn't mind, leave me some because I also have a fire pit. I would like to use some. I said, yep, that's no problem. I'll take bigger chunks anyways from my fire pit. If there's smaller stuff, I'll leave it here for you and your fire pit if that's okay. So some parts of the spring, I was over there cutting up firewood. I do know now that I need to spend more time cutting up firewood than I thought previously because the winters aren't really harsh here and I don't run my wood stove all that often. But when I do run it, it's just basically to help with the furnace. Basically, like when it gets down into the 10-degree mark or the 0-degree mark, I like to especially have that wood burning furnace to kind of help heat the house so the furnace isn't running all day long. So cut some firewood up. Big thanks to Camden for helping me out with that too. Camden was a big help. He came over quite a few times to help me cut firewood and split it. And shortly after that, we had to pick a place for our wedding venue. Um, we were trying to get into the planning stages and where we were going to go. Wedding venues are fucking expensive, man. If I need to get into a business, I don't want to rent out, like, I don't want to rent houses or anything like that. I want to own a piece of property that I can put a building on and let people get fucking married out of because fuck, they're expensive, man. So we talked a little bit, had a few options. And then I had mentioned the idea when my grandma's got a beautiful place. She's got a pavilion and a little pond back by her house. I said, why don't we go take a look at it? And if you like it, I said, I'll ask her if she wouldn't mind if we had a wedding here. So we went, looked. I think Kristen fell in love with it, especially because I knew the price was going to either be cheap or free, depending on how easily I could schmooze talk my grandma. So I told my grandma, hey, listen, Kristen absolutely loved it out here. We took a look at it. Would you be okay with us having our wedding out here? They told us that's absolutely no issue at all. We could have the wedding out there. They're not going to charge us anything. So that was a huge blessing. So I'm excited for that. We are getting down to the wire here. I will actually be married before we go to Cleveland, 2 weeks prior. So that's super cool. We're getting down to the wire. I'm excited. I'm not nervous. A lot of people ask me if I'm nervous. I'm not because this is just basically another stepping stone for everything else that's to come. And as much as I want to enjoy it now, I want all the planning and stuff to be over so that way we can do the wedding, enjoy the wedding day. We've already got a honeymoon planned, which I will bring that up here later on down. So, but we've got everything figured out as to what we want to do that way and ready to kind of just not rush through it, but I'm ready for it to be here. That's for sure. I also had, and I'm not going to talk too much about this. I also had a friend of mine and his wife, um, shortly after looking at the wedding venue. I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was late in the evening. Kristen and I were laying in bed, and I got a phone call from one of the guys from work. And they said, hey, have you heard about what happened to so and so? And I said, no. Now, mind you, I'm just going to say so and so for now. This person is a very close friend to me. I have not talked to this person to see if they want details out on this, but I'm just filling you guys in as much as I can for now, just to kind of fill in everything that's happened in this past year. So let me get a hold of this person, find out if they want anything shared, and then we'll go from there. But for now, the details you guys need to know is a friend of mine and his wife got into a very bad ATV accident. We were notified through people and friends through work what had happened. We were told that both of them were taken to the local hospital. Um, one of them was treated at the local hospital, and the other one was getting med flighted to Columbus to a special hospital up in Columbus. Getting that phone call, I didn't know what to do, but I felt the need to do something. Um, we both felt horrible after the phone call, even though we knew there was nothing we could do. You obviously know, at least for me, in a background that I have, if somebody is taking a helicopter ride to a hospital, it's normally not good, or it's the situation is not the greatest. But so we both talked about it, Kristen and I, and we said we weren't going to go anywhere to either hospital for that day because it was already late in the evening. We figured a bunch of people would already be going and traveling. I said, and I told her, I said, my biggest thing is I don't want to be there and take up time from their family because I know how those situations are. The family is number one priority there. Obviously, apart from the person who is in the hospital, their family needs to be there. And as close as I consider me and these people as family, I just didn't necessarily feel it was important for us to be there right away. We would wait for more details and then figure out what we were going to do then. So the following day, still kind of somber. We're waiting to hear more answers, to hear if anything is coming about. We hear that other people are going up and visiting. As the situation was not out of the woods, but it was a decent diagnosis to where we thought that things were still going to pull through and everything was going to be okay after a long period of recovery. So we both said that we thought about going, but still weren't sure. And then we got a call from the other person that was treated from the local hospital and ended up going to Columbus to be with their significant other. We got a phone call from them, and we talked to that person and said, hey, listen, we're glad you're okay. We hope your significant other is doing okay. We would love to be there, but we just don't want to take time away from your family. And we want them to have a space up there and get to see you guys as much as possible. And the news that I heard next, or I guess the words that came over the phone next, just it changed everything for me. But that person said, we would absolutely love it if you guys were here. We would actually prefer if you guys want to come, we would love to have you here. And I knew exactly when I heard that. Kristen and I dropped everything. We're like, okay, we're going. We're on our way. Doesn't matter how far. We're dropping everything and we go up. So we go up. We spend time with them. Uh, Long story short, without giving away any more details, both of them have made a very good recovery. One of them has made, I would think, a full recovery. The other one, I'm assuming, is close to, probably will not be 100%, but very close to 100% as you can probably get. Um, and just to see the change in from one state to another, from the beginning of the accident to now where we are, just a complete 180 difference. And I'm so thankful. And I told them both too. I said, I'm so thankful that God decided not to take you guys simply because I don't know what my life would be without them here. They are huge influences to me. And I'm sure that if I can get details, I will sit down with these people and talk about more in detail, but I just don't want to give it away without talking to them first. It wouldn't be fair to them. But biggest thing there, it was just how fast things can change and how easily bonds are built and kept through friends and family are just it amazes me, and the support that these people got was amazing through our community. But after that happened, the breeze ride, the annual breeze ride that I go on, I wanted to share some things about it. I really enjoyed the breeze ride. However, one part of it, which was not the motorcycle club's fault, um, I myself am the road captain of um, my chapter that I'm in. Just recently, I got a different spot where I'm now the secretary and I'm giving up the road captain spot, but I was still the road captain. I asked Bel Air if they needed help with their event. I didn't mind helping them. I didn't mind doing whatever they needed to help facilitate their event. They asked me if I was comfortable with road blocking. I said, absolutely. I'm perfectly okay with it. I'll help you guys wherever you need. Just let me know where you need people at, basically where the intersections are. So I remember bits and pieces of this more because I was more angry. I don't remember everything, but um, I just remember bits and pieces of this. But um, the motorcycle club was going through an intersection. I myself and a few other guys rode up ahead so we could get to the intersection first and block people off in traffic so they couldn't cut into. I bet you we probably had 200 bikes or so there. Now, the reason that we do this, if you're somebody listening to this who isn't part of a motorcycle club or doesn't understand motorcycle dynamics or whatever, the reason that motorcycle clubs will block traffic and let everybody get through is just so impatient people don't say, "Oh, I can make that gap right there," or "I just need to cut in here real quick. Let me just do this and I'll be out of the way." That is so dangerous for us because there's only a few people, most of the time, that know where the destination is. It's so much easier if we can keep everybody together. It's the same way if you were in a car with five other cars. You guys are all trying to stay together. So that way everybody knows where we're going, everybody can get to the same place, and you want to do that as safely as possible. People on motorcycles do the same thing, but we block traffic from time to time. I know it's not legal, but we will block traffic just to help everybody get through. The best thing that I can tell you if you've never been in this situation before, let everything happen just the way it's happening. Let the motorcyclists park in front of you for just a couple minutes. We'll get everybody through. It was a memorial ride. We're on a ride for somebody who tragically passed away. Everybody's there to show support and in remembrance of one of our brothers. And the gentleman I was parked in front of or sit in front of was very impatient and decided to start yelling out his window. Now, for those who do know me, I hold my temper pretty well. Like I'm pretty reserved. I can normally take what people say and let it brush off my shoulders. But this guy was extremely upset, wanted to know how long it was going to be. I told this guy not so politely, I said, if you'd wait a fucking minute, we'll be out of your way and you can do what you need to do. And he stuck his head out his window and he said, listen, pal, I've got fucking places to be too. And I said, I understand, just fucking wait. Like, you don't understand what's happening here. Just give us a minute and then you can go on about your way. So he looked out the window and he said, are you guys police? And I nodded my head, yes, because there are active and retired police officers in our club. He said, well, remember that. And I'm like, just fucking wait, dude. Just give us a minute. You just wait. That's all it takes. Just let us get our guys through here. I, I looked at the guy and I said, why don't you have some fucking patience? And he drove up on the sidewalk beside me. And he said, I hope somebody finds you dead in a ditch today. And then jumped the curb into traffic, got in the turning lane where our bikes were already coming past, and then had to sit there and wait for bikes to go past. And I'm looking around, there's other people around, there's people from Bel Air, and they're looking out too. And I laughed at the time because I'm like, this guy just doesn't understand. He doesn't know. Needless to say, this guy was pulling into a McDonald's, which, listen, if your blood sugar is that fucking low, or if I get people need to eat, he may have been pulling into that same parking lot that had a bank, but like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the 10 seconds that you might save or the minute that you might save realistically jumping into a pack of bikes or trying to get around a blockage. It's just not worth it. And I let that simmer on me all day. And I thought, you know what? I'm not somebody who shares on social media. I'm not somebody who lets shit get underneath them. But I put on my Facebook page, I said, just to let you know, whoever you are, I made it home safe. My fiance appreciates that I made it home safe. My mom and dad and my brother, my aunts, uncles, my family, everybody made it home safe that night. Everybody was appreciative that I made it home safe last night. So I hope you appreciate that I made it home safe because you said that you wished I didn't or you hoped that I didn't. So I hope that you appreciate that I did, and something clicked in your mind later on in that day that maybe you were just a fucking dick, and maybe it didn't. Maybe that guy will continue to think he's in the right. But I remember that I told the brothers of that, like, guy just had a bad moment. I get that people have bad moments, but to wish death on somebody, that's not that's not something you fucking do. But it is what it is. I'm still here, and I hope that guy's day got worse because of it. So our summer event this year, instead of going down to Texas, we took a trip over to Hocking Hills. We booked a huge Airbnb that we could fit everybody in. Um, we did a bunch of different activities. They had a hot tub on site. Um, we played Mexican train dominoes. We had consumed some alcoholic beverages, if you will. We had just an amazing time. Ping pong tables, cornhole boards. We went for a couple organized rides that we had set up, different Harley Davidson shops we set up at and went to and visited. We had a great time. I really enjoyed it. But it was a great extended weekend trip. I really had a lot of fun, and I hope we get to do something like that as a club again for sure. We also went on the 9/11 Memorial Ride in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, hosted by the McKeesport Charter. I was super glad to see that they got that ride set back up. Couldn't be more thankful for those guys at McKeesport. They do a great job with their 9/11 Memorial Ride. We go to the 9/11 Memorial. We get to walk out in the field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the plane crash was. We get to walk through a memorial. It's just a very good time. It's a great ride. It's a beautiful day. Normally, I don't think the last 2 or 3 times that I've went, we've not had bad weather. It's a nice, decent ride for us, and I'm looking forward to going again this upcoming year. Shortly after that, we attended the local fair here, and for those who don't really have county fairs, or if they do have county fairs, they've never experienced a harness race. I grew up going to harness races with my grandparents and my parents. So watching the horse races is just, it's a blast for me. And my brother and I took our girls with us, and they were kind of not interested, but we kind of showed them how we do it. We bet $1 to get into like each race. So like let's say there's 10 or 12 races in one night. So you take 10 or 12 bucks. You pay $1 and you get a card. Let's say there's 5 horses in a race. So you have numbers ace through 5 in the race or in the little deck. You pull a card, whatever number you have on your card, that's your horse. And if you win the money that everybody else has put in. And I'll tell you, we hooped and we hollered and we screamed and we yelled like we were betting thousands of dollars per race. We had $1 on the line at these races. The girls enjoyed it. Me and Camden enjoyed it because we got the girls in on it. I bet you if I asked Kristen if she wanted to do it again this year, she'd tell me, let me know exactly when it is, and we'll go set up and go do it again because I know she had a blast. So that quality time we get to spend as family is so precious because we don't get to do it much anymore. And I really do miss it. So now we're into kind of the deep summer here. I had some wisdom teeth pain that I had. Taking you back a little bit longer, I had 2 wisdom teeth at the top removed. I had trouble with those a few years back. Got those wisdom teeth out. The bottom one started hurting at like 1 o'clock in the morning one morning. I woke up with shooting pain in my mouth and knew immediately. I said, this is wisdom tooth pain and it's going to suck because it's not going to go away. Called my local dentist. They were luckily able to see me quickly. Said, hey, those are kind of tight there in the back. We're going to have to get you to a specialist to get those removed. We're not going to be able to do them here like we did the top ones. So they got me referred to a specialist. And although the specialist got me in fairly quickly, I had a golf outing scheduled the next day with some guys from the motorcycle club through work. So I tell the lady I'm not going to get put under, not because I don't want to. I'm not sure what it's going to cost out of pocket. And I said, I would just rather stay awake for it. And this lady's like, listen, you really need to get put under for this. We think it would be easier. And I said, you're just going to keep me awake. I said, numb the fuck out of me. And I said, if you can give me a little pill to relax me or so, whatever, prescribe something that I can take day of. I said, I'm all for it. But I said, I'm just going to stay awake for it. I think it'll be fine. The top ones come out easy. The bottom ones should come out just the same. So they schedule the removal. They give me a pill, or they prescribe me a pill that I picked up at the pharmacy. I cannot remember the name of this fucking pill to save my life. I will look for it and try to tell you. You guys need to know I don't take Tylenol very often. Like I will just suffer through a headache. I don't like taking Tylenol. I don't like taking pain pills. With wisdom teeth, I fucking take what they prescribe me. I take what they fucking give me. So whatever fucking pill they gave me, I take it in the parking lot, um, or maybe a couple 10 to 15 minutes before I get to the parking lot. I am not driving. I needed to have a driver. So Kristen took me up. I remember going in, remember sitting in the little dentist chair. I remember the lady numbing me up. I do not remember the surgery at all whatsoever. I do not remember the car ride home from the surgery, and I do not remember coming home from the surgery. Now I will tell you what I was told happened during this entire point. I'm in surgery. The bottom wisdom teeth get taken out. No issues, no problems. Kristen gets me to the car. I get to the car. I lean the seat back and I FaceTime my mother. It's not uncommon for me to FaceTime my mom. I call her about once a week just to check up on her because I told you that family time to me is so precious. And I will call my mom once a week, every week until I can't anymore. But I call my mom. I tell her, hey, my mouth feels funny and my mouth's packed full of gauze, still bleeding. Mom's like, yeah, you look pretty fucked up, buddy. And she asked if I was there by myself. And I'm like, no, Kristen's here with me. She's like, well, isn't she just the nicest person? And for some reason, the words came out of my mouth. She is really nice. But I'm trying to find out if there's a return policy on her. Why that came out of my fucking mouth, I do not know. My mom laughed. Kristen laughed. I do not plan on returning her whatsoever. She is mine. I'm not taking ownership of her, but I would like to keep her for the rest of my life if at all possible. But I told my mom and my fiance that I was trying to see if there was a return policy on my fiance. So I proceed to gibber with my mom, whatever the fuck side conversation we have. I get off the phone with her. I fall asleep. When we get back to our local town, I wake up coming off the interstate. Still do not know what's going on. I did know that we needed to go to the bank to get cash out because we needed to pay our water bill. Our water bill is only able to be paid in cash, which fucking sucks because we have to drive 15 minutes away just to pay our water bill. Long story. So she goes to the bank. Now, at this point, we do not have our joint banking account set up yet. So I have to give her my debit card to get the money out. So I reach into my wallet. She goes through the drive through. I hand her my debit card. She gets to the bank. Mind you, we live in a small town. The people at the bank know me by name when I walk in. The people at the bank know that I'm on 3 separate accounts now, and they know which account they need to draw from when I tell them. So they also know Kristen, I'm assuming, because she hands them my debit card, says, hey, we need X amount of dollars out of this account. They let her sign for it. And as I'm sitting in the passenger seat, I lean forward to the lady at the window and say, no, don't give her my money. She's going to rob me blind. And Kristen wanted to smack the shit out of me. I do not remember how mad she was because I don't remember saying it. I don't remember the car ride home, but I knew she wasn't very happy. They give her the money regardless. She tells me to put money in my wallet and shut the fuck up while we're on the way home. So I giggle, put the card in my wallet, get home. So we pull in the driveway. When we come through the front door, we have a little mudroom area. And then to get up into the house, there are 3 small steps. Kristen asks, hey, would you like me to help you up the stairs? I said, no. I said, I can fucking handle this myself. I get all the way to the top of the steps, those 3 steps, taking very small, very light steps, as Kristen puts it. I get to the very top step, my knees buckle. I catch myself at the top of the steps and say, woo, I'm a little woozy, and rest my head on the wall beside the stairs. She is standing behind me. If I am to fall, she claims she is going to catch me, but that is not what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I am taking her and I both down the steps backwards if I am to fall. She squeezes by me, helps me get into the rest of the house. She puts me over beside my side of the bed and says, do you need anything? I wanted some water because if you ever had wisdom teeth pulled or any kind of mouth surgery, All you can taste is blood from the fucking gauze. I think before she even got me the water, I was already in my shorts, took my clothes off, had my CPAP mask on, and to sleep I was. Like, I was exhausted. Crashed back out, wake up the next day in a lot of pain. They had prescribed me oxycodones for this wisdom teeth being pulled. I was not a huge fan of, like I said, I don't take Tylenol. So they wanted me to take Tylenol and ibuprofen together and the oxycodones as needed. I was in so much pain from those bottom wisdom teeth being taken out. I got a pill crusher, crushed up the Tylenol and the ibuprofen, and was taking them in a powder form to help them work faster because it was hurting so bad. You had to time it right. It was every 6 hours you could take them for the swelling and the pain, but it was so bad. It hurt so bad. And I knew, remind you, I've been through this whole process. In less than 24 hours, I am participating in an 18-hole golf outing with 3 other guys. And I'm not committed to cancel. There's no way I'm canceling on these guys. So what do? I pack my little Tylenol, I pack my ibuprofen, and I was not content on taking the oxys. I said, I'm not taking these things. I will be fine. It'll be okay. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I ended up taking all of them that were prescribed as prescribed. And I'm so glad that I did because it did take some of the edge away. I did not take them while I was at the golf outing, but I needed them. I needed them bad. Go to the golf outing. I play horrible fucking golf, anyways. Um, as I'm playing horrible golf, we get back to the clubhouse, find out that we didn't win. I buy raffle tickets, put raffle tickets in a basket for cigars and whiskey, thinking that it would be a great idea. And I win the basket. So that's cool as fuck. I won a huge basket full of cigars, full of whiskey. Then it dawns on me. I just had wisdom teeth taken out less than 24 hours ago. I can't smoke or drink for 3 fucking weeks. So I had to sit that fucking basket inside and just fucking look at it while my shit healed. So that was that whole process. Halloween rolls around. Kristen is a huge Halloween person. She loves dressing up. She loves getting dolled up. She thinks Halloween is the greatest. We go all out. We went as Sully and Boo from Monsters Inc. I think we did fucking great. Unfortunately, we did not place first. We placed second, which kind of blowed, but we had a great time. Halloween costumes were great. We were up at my mom's friends or my mom's neighbor's house for the Halloween party. Had a great time there. There's so many more things that I want to fill you guys in on. The honeymoon. Kristen and I are going on our first ever cruise. We went and booked through MSC. Luckily, a friend of my mom's is also a travel agent. She's working with us. We're booking a 1-week cruise, a 7-day cruise through MSC. We're going to the Western Caribbean. 2 stops in Mexico, 1 stop in Honduras, and 1 stop in the Bahamas. So we're super excited for that. We can't wait to take our honeymoon cruise. Unfortunately, we're going to wait a little bit after the wedding. So we call it our honeymoon cruise, but it's almost going to be our 1-year anniversary cruise. So we'll enjoy that. I am a person that likes to do a lot of research. I don't like going into things blind. I like to know what things look like. So ever since talking about this cruise, I have been doing research on cruise ships, research on the places that we're going, research on everything else. The biggest thing is Kristen doesn't like to do that. She likes to be surprised and wants to kind of go through it as we're going through it. So that's definitely different on us. I've also taken flights and stayed places for an entire week. I know as a man, I can pack a suitcase or my duffel bag is a carry-on. I can put a week's worth of fucking clothes in a carry-on. Kristen wants to check a bag. I understand we have to kind of change our lives around for each other. That's perfectly fine. I give her shit because I've never checked a bag before, simply because A, I'm a cheap ass and don't want to pay the extra price to check a bag. And B, I don't want them losing my fucking luggage. If I bring a carry-on, I know that motherfucker's coming on the plane with me, and I know that motherfucker's coming off the plane with me. With a check bag, you don't fucking know that. You just kind of hope that it shows up on the carousel. She's hellbent. She can't fit all of her clothes in a carry-on. So we're going to check bags, and we're going to end up losing a bag, and then it's going to be the end of the fucking world, and we're going to have to buy some more clothes, and it's not going to be fucking good for me. But because I'm getting married and because I have to change my lifestyle a little bit, I'm going to do it all with a smile on my face because I love this woman. So, to wrap this all up, that was kind of everything that's kind of happened. Some things that I want to kind of share. The two things that I have written down here. Um, One, why does it feel like life always finds a way to pull you back down to reality when it feels like you're up? So during the wintertime, we had a horrible issue with our water lines freezing. We went through that whole process again. We did the fireplace project that had trials, tribulations, all the shit through that. I had issues getting my motorcycle service last year. I will catch you guys up on that. I rolled my lawnmower out here in the yard, rolled it over on top of myself. Did not get injured too bad, but I did roll the mower over on myself. All the golf trials and tribulations that I've been through, dishwasher problems, oven problems, ice machine problems, and wanting to get rid of the seasonal depression as it is now like March, early March, and you're getting 70-degree days, but you're also getting 30-degree lows and trying to battle through those. And I'll dig more into that in the next episode. But I think it's crazy that life always finds a way to pull you back down to reality. But I also put directly after that, I said we should be grateful for what we have. Even in those trials and tribulations, we should know that we are in a better situation than what it could be. And even though that most people wish they had more or they were better off in a better situation, they truly waste the time and the energy thinking that because instead they could be grateful for what they do have. I have a beautiful fiance who absolutely loves me and doesn't want to change anything about me other than maybe packing situations. But she doesn't want to change anything about me. She loves me for who I am. And I can't be more thankful for that because I've been in other relationships where people do want you to change a little bit and adapt to things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I'm saying it should be give and take or it should be obtainable, I guess. And that's exactly what this is that I have is somebody who loves me and doesn't want to change me for me. I'm super thankful for my blood family, my family that I've always had around me growing up, the people that love and support me there. I'm super thankful for my club family, the motorcycle brothers and sisters that I get along with so well, and who those are people that I can look up to and people that I can trust with everything. Those guys mean the world to me. The friends from work and the family that I've made along the way. Um, those people are just amazing people. I'm so grateful for them because without them, I wouldn't get the advice that I have. I wouldn't be in such a good work environment. I'd be miserable most of my days because obviously everybody knows most of your day is work. Most of your week is work. I'm super thankful for the dogs and the love that they've given me and the things that they help me through, even though they don't understand it. And just the greatness, the great things that I have and share with the dogs are just amazing. I have a great house. Even though I don't think it's a great house, I have a house that keeps the rain off my head, that keeps me warm in the wintertime, keeps me cool in the summertime. I have a truck that gets me back and forth to work. I don't have a piece of shit vehicle that I have to worry about whether it's going to make it back and forth to work. And the biggest thing is I have enough money to survive. I don't have a whole bunch of money sitting around, piled around. I don't have a big savings account, but I've got enough money to make it work. And that's what matters the most to me. And I feel like everybody should truly be grateful for that. Do me a favor, find the small things that you're grateful for. Don't keep wishing you had more. It's nice to have more. It'd be great to have more. I'd love to be a millionaire with 12 bikes, fancy fucking cars, a better job, a better house. But at the end of the day, it truly is all about being grateful for what you already have and knowing that what you have is enough. And that's what matters truly. I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode. I will dig deeper on some other shit going on. I'll deep dive into some other things, but I just wanted to get this episode out to you guys. I hope you guys love it when you hear it. Um, and stay tuned because there are more podcasts coming. I'm not sure how soon they're coming, maybe every other week, maybe once a month, but we're going to try to be more persistent in getting you guys content. Until next time, stay fucking wobbled. Love you guys. See you fucking next time.